Barely made it. Yes, that's right. Yeah, we already have phones overheating because of how hot this is about to be.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Oh Lord. Oh man. Who we got in here so far? We got Eric, Nevin, John, Josh, Michael, Kate, and I know CJ was first as always. He was in
Only like
here.
2 days early.
Yeah, that's right. He won't even be here for the premiere, but he'll be there for first, of course.
Exactly.
Well, sir, Spencer, before I Matt Clausen, have a good live. I'll watch the rewatch later. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, Matt. Appreciate you being here. Abdullahi World's going on, man.
Oh
Richie's
yeah.
here. Oh my God, Tyree. CJ, he was
They're
first.
coming in.
Oh my God, that's great.
Awesome.
Well, for the man who needs no introduction, Luke's pointing miles going on, man. For the man who needs no introduction, we have none other than Spencer Johnson in front of me, the man who has amassed over 1,250,000 views on his channel over the last little over a year now.
Mhm.
Little over a year, spanning across his channel and, of course, his second channel called Business Banter, where him and Mark Plymell go into all other things in the finance world. This is a guy who's, over the course of the year, you look through his channel, he's talked about anything from, credit cards for people in college, all different strategies for some of his cards, talking a lot about you don't even think about certain people, and you kind of tie a certain particular ideal to them, and you're like, oh, this is the Amex guy, or this is the guy who's in his car in his Tesla when he talks. Spencer, for whatever reason, even though he's done a plethora of videos on every credit card topic you can think of, I just think of him as the Chase guy. um,
Oh yeah.
and it's probably for a good reason. It's given him a lot of good, uh, over the years of using his Chase credit cards, and he's really maximized them. Even had a crazy redemption with taking his Chase Ultimate Reward points and buying a MacBook Pro. Awesome
Hmm.
stuff. But with all of the good that comes with Chase, there's also a lot of bad. Maybe not a lot of bad, but some bad. And you made a video not too long ago talking about the untold truths of Chase credit cards, and just kind of going through your thought process on what they can improve on, etc. So before we actually get into that, I just have to always ask, as always on every video, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be with you here today. I appreciate you having me, of course. I've sat in a lot of your lives before, but never actually in the flesh. So this is going to be a fun one for me. So thanks for having me.
Of course, I appreciate you being here, man. Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we're two people who have interviewed people on their channels, one live and one not live and edited very nicely. Um, but we never met in the flesh
Exactly.
than live. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah. So what's the deal with Chase credit cards? Like, what is it that, because we know a lot of good things about them, but what do you think they could possibly improve on, in your opinion, as someone who's used them for a while?
Yeah. I don't know. Whenever I made that video, I felt like nobody had really yet covered the negatives of them, and I felt like they're almost getting a little bit too overinflated with the hype. Because like every single time, I don't know about you, but every single time I post a community post or a poll asking people what their favorite lender is, or what trifecta they want the most, it was like always Chase would win by a landslide, but all the comments would be for another lender. So it was like, I don't know what's
Hmm.
going on here, to where they are so popular, but people do seem to really not like them as well. So I figured, I'll put my fanboying aside and try to at least scratch other people's itches of seeing what the problems were with Chase. And so that's kind of what prompted that video. But I think it's no surprise that the biggest issue that everybody has with them is that their earning categories actually aren't super strong. Or if they are strong in some cases, but they're overlapping. And that's a
Hmm.
big issue, of course, because if you're building out a trifecta, you don't want them to all earn the same thing.
Yeah.
Want them to kind of complement each other. So I guess I figured out over the years of using it, or I guess year and a half or so, that I was mainly using my Chase Freedom Unlimited for everything. Because even with all the different cards, I mean, I guess I do use the 5% rotating categories on my OG Chase Freedom. I don't even have technically the Chase Freedom Flex, but same
Hmm.
idea. Um, but I really only use the Chase Freedom Unlimited for the 1.5x, baseline rate that it gave me on everything. And then I could use it for 3x on dining, which was like the main other category that those cards cover. And then, I
Hmm.
have my Chase Sapphire Preferred set up with some streaming services. But in
Hmm.
reality, you don't need all three of the cards, is what I was coming to the conclusion of. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, why is that? it's mostly because they have overlapping categories.
Hmm.
Now, do I think that you shouldn't get all the cards? No, I think you should, because the welcome bonuses are what we're really here for. Like
It's true.
the earning categories matter a lot less to me now. That I have multiple cards, and the sign up bonuses matter a lot more. So I still recommend them super heavily,
Hmm.
and I think that they are a great credit card setup, but they have some flaws. The main one being that they have overlapping categories, and we can get into more. But like, I'll let you interrupt me there before I keep going forever.
Well, it's just funny, right? Because like they are a heavy hitter in this whole community, and people really
Hmm.
do tout like, oh, Chase Trifecta is kind of good. But it's funny how we have kind of like an air now. I could feel it in the air a little bit where people are like, people have talked about strategy for a while, a little bit of strategy, but it seems like everyone has now come to the realization, kind of with ourselves, really, just thinking like, hey, uh, screw strategy. We're all
Yeah.
here for the sign up bonuses. We're all here
Right.
to maximize our spend and get the most amount of spend back, which is usually via the sign up bonuses. Now, this is if
Right.
granted, we're not beholden to our Chase 524 rule, which is another thing you brought up in your video, which is like,
Right.
let's just you didn't say this, but let's just demolish the 524
Yeah.
wheel. Why do we have this? Um,
Yeah.
and a few other things you mentioned, which we can get into too, which is
Mhm.
I was wondering because you kind of mentioned customer service, I
Right.
believe, in your video. Um, have you heard? Because I'm just curious, because I haven't really talked to them that much. Only when I got denied of my Chase Business Unlimited. Have you
Yeah.
had bad experiences, or have you read people who had a bad experiences with Chase?
I more included that one. I believe that week, whenever I made the video, I think somebody in the credit community Discord mentioned that they had bad experiences.
Hmm.
And of course, if you look online, you're going to find people that post bad reviews of customer experience.
Yeah.
For me, I've never had an issue with them personally. And I think I
Hmm.
mentioned that in the video, maybe, but I always am careful with customer service because everybody has a different experience. It's very subjective, like
Yeah.
depending on the person you get.
Hmm.
But really, the only person I've ever been wowed by is probably Amex. But again, like I've never had any bad experiences, so it's like I don't know how much I can really toss up to that.
Hmm.
Um, I did have a recent experience yesterday with them. Well, actually, my girlfriend did. So we got her the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but she had to go through Recon to get it, and she
Hmm.
called them up and they gave her the card after denying her first. So that wasn't even like a pending approval. It's like they denied her, and then she got it through Recon. So it's like, oh, that's a good experience. So
Wow.
I
Huh.
don't know. It kind of depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah. And it's funny,
Yeah.
Luke came in. Oh, we got Chad Fantas here, Calby, a few other people. Luke came in and said, I love the secured message system. I never want an answer to my question that day. I like waiting 24 hours.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit annoying.
That is so funny. Oh Lord. And Michael Wong says, I think where the Chase business cards is where the power really is. Which is a lot of us were doing that a few months ago. We were trying to get the Chase business cards and even taking mail offers, trying to beat 524. I wasn't able to beat them, but people like Chad and Sledge and Luke in the community were able to.
Right. Yeah, that honestly, that is like deserving of a whole nother video probably, because I think that the Chase Inc. trifecta is probably the better trifecta for a lot of people that are like heavy credit card users. Obviously, for the normal user,
Hmm.
I would still recommend the personal trifecta because it's easier to understand and you don't have to worry about the business side of things. But in reality, like the Chase Inc. Unlimited gives you the same as the 1.5x is all you really need from the Chase Freedom Unlimited.
Yeah.
And then I guess the 5x rotating quarterly categories you wouldn't get with the business side, but I think the Chasing Cash, it does turn everything basically into a 5x category. You get
Hmm.
gift cards, and
True.
then you can transfer out to travel partners with the Inc. Preferred, and you get cell phone protection with that card too. So it's like
Hmm.
you could make a great trifecta that way. And I think the business cards are what I'm starting to see more is like the power of Chase's setup
Hmm.
as I kind of progress in the credit card game. But again, I'm not going to ever say that you shouldn't get the Chase trifecta. It was the one I started with, and I think it's the one that most people probably should start with while they're figuring out what they want to do in the credit card game and are under 524. But yeah, eventually you start to graduate up to other cards that you build your own setup out of however many cards you want to. But for the majority of people, you could probably get away with even just like the Chase Freedom Unlimited and the Sapphire
Hmm.
Preferred
Yeah.
if you just needed a catch all card in a dining and whatever. But to transfer it out to travel partners is the main thing. So I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, though. I think.
For sure. And even myself, I mean, I only have one Chase card ever, my Chase Sapphire Preferred, and I was even considering getting the. Well, I wanted the business unlimited, but I was even considering just the personal unlimited, just because
Hmm.
of the bonus that was float around. Well, the $200, it's spending 500, but then also you're getting, I don't know, like some sort of percentage back too on grocery and gas. And we had some people in the Discord that were they were talking about it, like, is this real? Is this not real? And they were talking to the chat members. So it's
Yeah.
definitely there is still some cards to be desired. World of Hyatt card for that matter too.
Right. Yeah. I'm starting to see now with Chase that like I think someone just mentioned here too that the Chase Ink cards are where like Chase kind of shines. I think
Hmm.
that's true, but I also think their co-branded cards are like kind of
Yeah.
unmatched. Like they have some really powerful co-branded cards that I haven't touched yet. So
Hmm.
now that I'm like kind of underneath or getting close to underneath 524, I'm realizing how important it is for me to maybe switch around my strategy a bit to add all the co-branded cards I want now with Chase, so I don't really have to worry about 524 going forward.
Hmm.
Um, because before, whenever I was first starting, I was like, okay, I'm going to get the Chase Trifecta. That's what people recommend.
Yeah.
But then I'm just going to move on to other lenders because I was so excited to get Amex cards and the City Custom Cash and stuff like that.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, in reality, I probably should have just stuck with Chase for my first like 5 or so cards, 6 cards, and then moved out to someone else. So trying to figure that out now, but it's part of the process.
Hmm. For sure. And do you have any thoughts right off the bat? Like, hey, maybe I'm 324 now. I'm 324. I have two slots open. Any thoughts on which co-branded Chase cards you would kind of go for?
Yeah, so I want, I definitely want the World of Hyatt card at some point. I don't know
Same.
exactly when I'll get it. Yeah, I I'm about to drop under 524 in September.
Hmm.
Um, so literally like really soon.
Yeah.
So I could add the World of Hyatt card right after that, but then I get pushed back up to 524 for I think it's like 3 or 4 more months.
Hmm.
So I don't want to do that. So of course the natural progression is okay. Let me get some business cards.
Yeah.
So I haven't got the Chase Ink Unlimited, and honestly, would just be getting that for the bonus because I already have the Freedom Unlimited.
Yeah.
Um, and then I could look at something like the World of Hyatt business, but for me, I think I mentioned this in a video that already went live, but it's just going to be a cancel for me probably in year 2. Like I'm not going to get positive value from it.
Yeah.
Again, since I do like hunting bonuses, I could just go for that either way if I could hit the minimum spend.
Hmm.
Um, and then that had me thinking, okay, what about Southwest cards? Because I travel with Southwest the most frequently
Hmm.
domestically because out of Austin, they're just really popular.
Yeah.
Um, so I could get like the Southwest business card, which I looked into those and they actually seem pretty easy to justify, like
Hmm.
annual fee wise, as well as sign up bonus spending requirements. So I've considered doing that. Um, but then there's a whole nother strategy of doing the Southwest companion fare or whatever pass that they have,
Hmm.
where you could basically, if you open a personal and a business card at the end of the year, this is my understanding of how it works. You get enough basically Southwest points, or you qualify for a companion pass for a year. So you want to apply for it at the end of one year and then not hit the sign up bonus until the next year, the start of the next year. So you kind of extend the amount of time that you have that companion pass. So there's like a
Oh.
whole strategy there, but a lot of people don't talk about it because it's Southwest. So I don't know,
Yeah. Huh.
but I don't know if I answered your question. I guess, yeah. So I'm thinking about the business cards and the World of Hyatt. And I don't even need the Amazon Prime Visa because I have the business version, but I could get
Hmm.
it, if I just wanted a $200 bonus or something during the holidays. But who
Hmm.
knows if I'll wait to be under 524 for that? I don't know. So, yeah. What about you, though? If you only got one right now, so what are you thinking about?
Um, I I'm like you, and I was thinking of the World of Hyatt, um, because I've been pretty, and some of the videos I've been making, people probably get annoyed I say it so often, but I'm really trying to find cards that I can kind of guarantee a vacation with. So I don't know. This card
Mm,
is I get stay at this hotel every year, and I get to look forward to it. I want more things I can look forward to in life,
right.
instead of just doing the same thing. So I was thinking, the World of Hyatt card, so I can get that free night certificate. And I have a guaranteed stay somewhere. Along those lines, if I'm being real crazy, maybe we got to get the one of those Chase Marriott cards. So this way we can, at some point, product change that to the Ritz Carlton.
Mm,
cards. This way we can use that free night certificate at any Marriott property, and that'll probably start my whole world of getting into Marriott credit cards and whatnot. So that's probably where I'll end up. To be honest, at this point, I don't even know when I'm going to drop under 524. I actually think it might be sooner than I think, like at the turn of the year.
Mm,
Um, and I might drop down to 324. So it might we might have a similar path there where it's like business card, World of
yeah,
Hyatt, and a Marriott card. Boom, those are my three.
yeah,
Then I'm good. After that, I'll be good.
right, right, yeah. I know that we have a little bit of a different strategy, me and you, because I haven't even touched hotel or airline cards yet,
Yeah.
and you're kind of more on that, like you see the value in them and you're getting value from them. And I
Hmm.
haven't really gone super hard into that yet, but I feel like this next year is going to be a lot more of that for me, just because I haven't tapped into that market yet, and I've kind of there's always going to be more cards to get, personal, business, co-branded, what have you. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting ready to switch up my strategy a little bit and go more towards those hotel and airline cards just to
Yeah.
see how I like them, because I imagine that they're pretty fun. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I want them to raise that World of Hyatt bonus though, but
See, people,
maybe
I don't know. People say that, but I feel like it's good. I'm the only one
it's
who said
good.
it's okay.
It's decent if you want to spend that much money to like actually like if you had that super high spend and you wanted to go for the full 60,000, like I guess that's good, but your return on spend isn't
Well,
like
yeah,
super high, I guess, because and
yeah,
what is the base? It's like 30,000 points for 3,000 of spend.
yeah,
So I guess that's what 10% back technically, which I guess isn't bad, but it
yeah.
would be nice if they raised it, especially after this MGM partnership. That just ended with them. Maybe they
Hmm.
push it. I don't know.
Get a little people enticed, maybe. Yeah, I don't know because I just think about it. All the ones that I've stayed in Nashville recently, and I've gotten 2 to 3 cents per point. So I just think like, it's probably like $600 to $900
Yeah,
in value. It's tough. I want to go stay it's at the Palazzo Manfredi out in Italy, like Chad Money Minutes is gonna do. That's
yeah,
like 20K a night. So I'm like, man, it's a night and a half there. It's not bad.
yeah. That's
But
fair. That's
those are
fair.
specific things. Hmm.
Yeah, I guess technically you should probably be applying for cards when you actually need the points. Unlike me, I kind of just like am going for the biggest bonus I can. So far on non-hotel and airline cards, but I want that to kind of change a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, and you bring up a good point. I mean, 30,000, even if you just go for the base, 30,000 Hyatt points are pretty valuable. But for a $95 annual fee card, you would hope that the 60,000 would have been a little bit easier to get, I guess, is my take on it. Like, I don't want to have to
Oh
spend the
yeah.
full however much it is to get that.
Yeah,
So
I
I
won't
don't
hit
know.
that.
That's just me.
I would have to be in a different world to hit that for sure.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so that's interesting. I just want to see a couple people are mentioning things. Luke says the World of Hyatt card is a feel good card. The math doesn't make sense. You'll always earn more Hyatt points on an ink card, which is
E-
it's true.
I guess that's true. I don't think about it that way though, in the sense of like earning on it. Like I'm never gonna put money on it unless it's a Hyatt stay. Like I really just want it for the free night. So that in that case, the math makes sense, but at least for me. But
Hmm.
as for earning, yeah, I would always just transfer my Chase points over because it's a good redemption rate for Chase points, even compared to like, yeah, it's different. Like if you're going from like Amex to Hilton, because Hilton points are technically less valuable. Maybe you don't want to use your Amex points for a lower valuation, but with Chase going to Hyatt, you're getting a high valuation, so it's kind of worth it.
Yeah, that's true.
But
And I would just put my
yeah,
World of Hyatt for my unless there's something I'm unaware of, but I use it for my gym membership because all
oh
I
yeah,
got with that is my Curve Yada and then Curve Built for
yeah.
gym.
I guess it only gives you 2x, but yeah, if you're doing your built thing, I guess 4x, right?
Well, if I'm doing the build thing, it'll still be the two
Oh,
X.
it's
But
not
I
a
was just
Mastercard.
yeah.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
but that would be cool. Otherwise,
yeah.
if I could do that. Richie actually said maybe an unpopular opinion, but the Capital One Duo, and this is a video you've done pretty recently.
Uh huh.
Well, he mentions the Capital One Duo is better than the personal base trifecta. No overlapping categories and the simplicity of only 2 cards, and no online grocery shenanigans.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I I would tend to agree with that for certain people. It's just for me, like I've made a video on the Chase or I guess a long time ago, but recently the Capital One Duo, City Trifecta, and Amex Trifecta. Um, and in reality, while those setups are really good in their own right, I don't value their points as highly as I do Chase's. So like
Hmm.
I find myself at the end of the day still wanting more Chase points all the time, while the other ones I feel like I'm a little bit in like a surplus of
Hmm.
because they earn really well, but I don't use their points as much. So it's like it depends on the person, of course, but yeah, for simplicity, the Capital One Duo does cover the most categories at the lowest amount of cards, and it's
Yeah,
really good. And I might even build that setup out myself, but
for
I just
sure.
have the Venture X now, so we'll see.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's another ecosystem I haven't gotten into at all. I have a Capital One Platinum. It once was my first, secured card, and then
yeah,
my Quicksilver, and that's all I
yeah,
have.
yeah. I guess you could kind of build it out a little bit with the Venture X because I think you can transfer your Quicksilver points over to it too. Your Venture X.
Yeah, I think they could all combine.
Yeah.
Capital One's pretty cool with that. That's a good
Mhm.
point, though. It's tough. I feel like there's not enough videos out there talking about how to get max value out of like your Capital One miles or your points, or at least
Yeah.
that I've seen.
I I need to make one on that, honestly. I need to use the points first, but like now
Yeah.
that I have access to their ecosystem, I should start making that might be like the next series I do is max redemptions or max value
Hmm.
because like with each lender, because I've been doing all the trifectas, but how are you going to
Yeah.
use those points? Kind of makes sense to
Hmm.
do those videos next. So might be on my agenda, but I've heard through my creator conversations episodes I've been filming recently um, that people do enjoy the Capital One travel portal and stuff. Like it is pretty good if
Hmm.
that's all you wanted to do. And then their transfer partners, you can find really great redemptions, as Luke points out all the time in his videos.
Yeah.
Even domestic, I'm saying. But
Hmm.
again, for me, it's just so like the simplicity of Chase's transfer partners for me, considering I like my favorite hotel is Hyatt. And that's before I got into the credit card game. This isn't like I'm not making this up for
Hmm.
the redemption. Before I got into the credit card game, my family would always stay at Hyatt's, especially their resorts. Like I like their resorts, which is where you get the most value also with your
Hmm.
points usually. Um, and then my favorite airline is Southwest. So they're both Chase transfer partners. So even it's just hard for me to value anything above them right now,
Hmm.
just from the use perspective. I'm not talking cent per point all the time, but from like an intrinsic value, Chase's points mean the most to me. So
Huh. It's funny how we all get into our own little ecosystems at some point or another. It's same for me. Like I've always loved Hilton's, and this was before I got into the credit game. So it was just the more I only had one choice in life because I stayed at Hilton. So
right,
obviously I was going to get Hilton cards. So
yeah,
it kind of it just kind of works out that way. And Amex, I did Amex really because Grams haven't talked about it the most, and there was a lot of allure with them. So I think that was why I ended up
yeah,
with them as well. Hmm.
right, right,
Um,
yeah. It depends.
hmm.
I see they've got a bunch of people joining now. Sledge is in here too.
Sudge is in the building again. Yeah,
Yeah.
JJ, Steven, Marsusili. We got an Italian in here.
Hmm.
Fellow Italian. Eric Gow, Capital One Duo. Tito. What's going on, Tito? A
Yeah.
little little girl lost. Uh, Jesse A. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you all being here. Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Something that's something that's been a little hot lately. I've seen some comment sections. People get a little upset when we bring it up, but I figure I just saw Fanta bring it up. He said, "I finally started the God trifecta," and he actually wants to do the Godzilla trifecta.
I don't know what that one. I saw him mention that, but I don't know what that one is. You might have to
Okay,
enlighten me.
the Godzilla in my one of my videos, like the "What's in My Wallet." It was kind of coined by by Calvi and I at the same time. It's because
Okay.
I woke up in the middle of the night one night, like 1 a.m., 12 a.m., and wait a second, Calvi, what if we? I literally woke up like a nightmare. I says, what if we? Literally, like my eyes are closed as I'm typing. I'm like, what if we use the curve card and the Yada card? So like, if I could charge the Yada card, if I don't get the item for free, I could just reroute it back to build. He was like, bro.
Whoa. How did I not hear about that? I've watched
it
all your videos. I swear.
I threw
That's
it
actually
in
pretty
fast.
insane.
Right? So I've been doing that, and I haven't had any good results yet, except for I've gotten a lot of actually good money back. Like every time I swipe, I'm getting a lot of points. I'm getting a lot of tickets in the raffle, and those haven't been called back from me yet. So I am getting free value from it.
Interesting.
Um, so I have a video I wanted to do pretty soon, like, oh, I used my Yada card for 30 days. Here are the
Yeah.
results, or something like that. But that's
Hmm.
the Godzilla trifecta. Um,
Okay.
for no reason. I guess because the Yada card's purple, it kind of looks like Godzilla. Um,
Yeah.
So what do you think about the God trifecta yourself? So we're talking the built card, really the God bifecta is what we're really talking about, the built card and the
Right.
curve card combo.
Yeah, I think Josh brought up a point in here that I kind of agree with. I'm like still on the fence about it just because I mean, granted, we're all here to get value from the credit card game in whatever way we can, and we bend the rules a lot. Like we try to at least,
Hmm.
with certain things. But with this one, for whatever reason, I'm like, I just don't know. I think it might have been Calby's video that scared me about him getting his built points clawed back so long ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Where I'm like, I feel like well, obviously they reserve any right to, I guess, at some point pull
Yeah.
those points, and I just don't necessarily want to get on their bad side. The
Hmm.
other thing is though that I don't even have the built card, or the curve card would be one that I would have to like kind of go out of my way to add. But the built card I don't even have yet. Which if I had that one, I might be
Hmm.
considering it more. Like I
Yeah.
might have just wanted to try it for a bit.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more of like that. I have a little bit of fear that I just don't know what like if they find out what they're going to do about it. And again, that's just I guess a preference because I do things that some people might not do, like put personal charges on business credit cards and stuff like that. So I don't
Yeah.
know, just personal
For
preference,
sure.
I guess.
And
But
it's a real thing, and I think it's good to have disclaimers like, "Hey, doing this, you may have your cards canceled."
right,
And I think that's probably healthy to go into it that way. If that's kind of how I came across. I was like, I'll just do it. Like I didn't have the built card or the curve prior to trying it, so like
yeah,
if they do cancel, it's not the end of the world. I'll just have my fiance do it. But
yeah,
it's not like a big hit anyway. Like I'll just go back to what I was doing, and in the meantime, I'm really enjoying it. It's
yeah,
making me be a little more creative where I once was not. But
yeah.
Luke actually asked an interesting question. He said, "Do any of you guys think changing the dates on your purchases is in any way immoral or shady?" Hmm.
It's an interesting question. I feel like I've gotten that question before about another thing. I can't remember what it was. It might have been like the personal charges on business cards or something. But
Probably. Hmm.
it it's just like one of those things that's a little bit of a loophole. I guess you can kind of somewhat consider it. It's not manufactured spending, but it's in the same kind of ballpark where you are kind of manipulating their rules to your advantage. Um, but I don't. I mean, there's nothing that specifically says you can't do that. I don't personally. I guess I'm not. I'm saying that it's just a credit card thing. Like I don't feel like it's immoral. Like we're just trying to. Like the banks take so much value from us anyway. If anything, that's a little bit immoral too. Like so, it's
Hmm.
like we're playing the same game they are in a way, and that's how I view it at least. Um, but again, I don't personally do it, so I guess I'm just all words here, but no action.
Hmm.
But what do you think
Yeah.
about it?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I just feel as if though things are going to happen no matter what. I mean, on the greatest scales, things haven't been able to like things have been manipulated on the greatest scales. I mean, just look at Wall Street bets and GameStop. I mean, you know how many millions that were siphoned, how many billions were lost by certain companies. Like crazy times. I don't know. Was that immoral if everyone got together and did it? I don't know. Probably. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
these things happen. Is it immoral? I don't know because yeah, they are losing out on a couple points every time we do this. That's all they're losing though. But also, I don't know. They're also getting a lot of business from people using their cards, right? So,
right. Yeah, maybe if
and
they offered a welcome bonus, I'd feel less bad on the built card.
yeah, that's true. I mean,
No,
people
I
are
don't.
people are getting money from it. I just think it's
Yeah,
an interesting thing. Why not try it in the meantime? These people, these banks are worth so much money. If they're really unaware, like there's no possible way I could think in my mind that they're unaware of any of this. Curve themselves are aware of Calby's video. Like on Twitter, you go
yeah,
on their Twitter page, they're aware. So if Curve is small of a company they are, they're on social media less than Built really is. Like Built's on the Reddit threads. They have people moderators who are going through. They know about it. They absolutely
yeah.
know that people are doing this before. Probably Calby made a video. He's probably
Right.
not the first person to think about it. Um,
Yeah,
Although I think I'm the first to do the yacht card, but probably
yeah.
not.
That's funny.
um,
Yeah, I guess it's more just like a personal thing. Like I saw like Luke saying that technically you are lying about the fact that you bought something on a different day, but in
yeah,
the grand scheme of things, like I personally wouldn't feel bad about it considering it's this massive institution of a bank that already is screwing people over. But again, I guess that's technically maybe you're not supposed to lie, but I don't know.
It's funny because if you read some of the comments, oh lord,
Oh god, what are they saying?
oh lord. See, it's such a hot topic. Oh my god. Sledge says it's not shady because or banks are the shadiest, so like who cares? 30% interest isn't moral either, but banks do it. Some people are saying, yeah, you're it's lying when we're doing it. Oh man.
Yeah, I think Dan brought up a good point too that Luke already responded to, but I was thinking the same thing about the Visa credit cards. It's like, or the Visa debit cards that you buy on your chasing cash.
Hmm.
Like, in a way, that's somewhat the same thing, I guess. As Luke pointed out, you're not lying about buying Visa, gift cards, but you're lying about what category you're earning in, really.
Hmm.
So like, I don't know. I think it all goes kind of different ways, but you just have to assess like personally uh, what you feel. So
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. CJ says Built is literally the only credit card that allows us to earn points on rent without paying a transaction fee. So yeah, that's yeah. So the people who are not using it for rent are the ones that are kind of embellishing and using it for not the right purpose. So we're kind of fearful.
yeah, that's actually a really good point too, because there are a lot of other ways that people are getting a lot more value from Built right now in shady ways than getting an extra 1x back or whatever 2x back. So
I wonder, yeah, I wonder if this because I brought this up on the previous live with Calvi, which I thought was fairly interesting. But I had a guy made a comment talking about the build card, and he said, "Hey man, I house hack, and I have like three other people that live with me." He's like, "Could I just set up a way where they all get a build card, they get their points, and then I guess they transfer their points to Hyatt, and then you can kind of share it with your account if that's even possible." Calvi said it's kind of possible. And this way he can give them like a little bit of a discount on their rent. It's like people are
hmm,
thinking, I thought that was
yeah,
interesting.
I think it all for me. This whole topic comes down to the fact that I think it's really cool that people are coming up with creative ways to build setups, and
Hmm.
that's actually I think I mentioned that in my video that's going out next Wednesday.
Hmm.
I mentioned the God Trifecta because I just think it's really cool that people are getting creative. I mean, if they shut it down, they shut it down. If they claw back your points, then maybe people don't you know feel like it's justice or whatever. But at the end
Hmm.
of the day, I mean, we're going to do what we can for now to get value from the banks as they do to us. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, hey, any money that we have with these institutions, they're making infinitely more off of us than we are of them at the
Right,
end of the day.
right.
Does that mean, two wrongs make a right? No, but why not? Why not just make some money in the meantime? Why not?
Yeah, I
Have
mean,
a
it's
little
not. Yeah,
fun.
like I said, it's not too groundbreaking like what y'all are doing. Like it's not a
Hmm.
you're not altering the tides of too much by getting a few extra points back. So I think
No.
it's just fun. I think it's more fun.
I will say what I'm doing with the Yada card is immoral. Definitely, I'm getting stuff for nothing. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's not even just manipulation of the points. I'm literally just getting free tickets and lotteries and free cents back on every purchase, and it's getting refunded a month later. So, but
yeah,
that's just more testing. And hey, man, if we didn't have people like water to go through the cracks, we'd have less regulations, I guess. So
yeah.
it's all for a reason.
Exactly, exactly.
Um,
It's a fun
that's
topic though.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about trifectas. What's the deal with? Because I don't know. I feel like I get these senses sometimes. People think I'm crazy, but I see things in the air and I see tides changing a little bit, and I'm like, what's happening with this? So at first, yeah, we maybe had the God trifecta stuff. In one way, we had a lot of strategizing of credit stuff, and I realized people really loving that stuff. Um,
Hmm.
Unique setups are having its moment too, and people are really interested in certain trifectas. But now I'm starting to see something in the air like let's start hating on trifectas, and you kind of alluded a little bit to it earlier, like the chase trifectas really it sometimes leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Have you seen that recently with people kind of like let's do better than trifectas. Let's have a more simplified approach to things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think man, there's so many different ways I could talk about this. I think for me, part of what prompted me to make all these new trifecta videos is one because I felt like there were really two banks, Chase and Amex, that were getting all the love for
Yeah.
credit card trifectas. But I saw like glaring problems with both of them, even though I would not be opposed to holding both of them. Like I'd like both of the setups. But I felt like it also like on YouTube itself as content creators, I feel like we need to give a pretty balanced view of all these things but for a lot of times it was mainly just like the good side of all these setups when there
Hmm.
is a lot of bad with all of them. So I wanted to try to at least make my trifecta videos a little bit more balanced than they were in the
Hmm.
past. Because even like I made Chase and Amex trifecta videos before, but for the most part, I was really positive.
Hmm.
So I do think that in a sense there is a little bit of a shift to people wanting just something different. Maybe is a big part of it too.
Yeah.
Um, but there are just like I mean, Luke just said it here. The city trifecta is fire. I think like the city trifecta is one that's been overlooked for way too long, and I think you
Hmm.
have this whole community kind of coming together trying to find the most value they can from all of these setups, and you see some starting to come to light a bit more that should have probably been getting hype before.
Yeah.
So you have like for example, you have Luke on one side of the game talking about how good their transfer partners really are if you
Yeah.
find the right redemptions. So then, and then you have some people talking about how good the earning categories are on the city trifecta, and like all these things start to piece together to where you realize like, hey, we've been overlooking this setup for a long time, and for me
Hmm.
personally, I realized that I had already built biases towards certain trifectas, like the city
Hmm.
trifecta, because I didn't like that they took away stuff like the travel protections and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So in my mind, I wrote them off, and I think a lot of people in the credit card game do
Yeah.
before they actually sit there and analyze, like, hey, would this setup actually be way better for me if I just got it?
Hmm.
Um, I guess that's speaking more on the one lender side, but then again, like I said, I do think that people are a little bit they want to be more creative now. Like there's so much content about
Yeah.
credit cards out there, so many like true like credit card enthusiasts that you're just seeing more ideas being thrown around to where people are building their own trifectas that are really, really solid, which I love. That's the best part about being in this community. You're just getting to collaborate with people and come up with cool ideas.
Oh
So
yeah.
I don't know if that answers the question, but that's kind of
Mhm.
my roundabout way of answering it at least.
Yeah, so you've done a good series so far, and I know you have many more to do on certain trifectas. So you would say,
Mhm.
do you really think the city trifecta kind of stands out above kind of most of them, in your opinion, right now? Or
Um, I think, see, I don't know. I guess the main point of my videos is kind of that you don't necessarily like
hmm,
everybody's situation is going to be different.
yeah,
Like they're all kind of equal, is what I'm trying to say. It just depends on what you value more.
yeah,
So I think that the city trifecta, as a trifecta, is probably the best earning trifecta there is. For all the 3x categories it covers, plus the city custom cash, plus 2x on everything else. That's way better than the city or the chase trifecta on
hmm,
earning categories. But again, I don't personally love their travel partners yet because I just honestly don't know how to use them the best. If I
hmm,
figured it out, maybe I would. And they're also harder to get approved for. Like the city premier is pretty hard to get approved for.
hmm,
Um, so for me, I stick with Chase's transfer partners and their trifecta because I really like their cards. But
yeah,
again, that's a personal preference. And you can see people like Luke or like Stan made a video recently too about a trifecta that nobody has talked about on YouTube that I've seen, and
yeah,
that could very well
hmm,
be the best setup for many people out there, but they may never have thought about it because they thought they had to go with one of these big bank ones. So
hmm,
I don't know. I think they're all kind of equal, but it's all personal preference, which is the fun part of it.
definitely. And
Yeah.
I saw Josh came in. He said U.S. Bank trifecta will be the next big thing, and
Dude,
yeah,
yeah.
there's
If they
so
added
many.
transfer partners, I think they'd be probably one of the best, if not
Oh
the best.
Lord, yeah, it's very interesting. Ha here's something I wanted to ask you at this moment as I'm thinking it. Um, what do you think about um, a world in the credit card community, like a world someday where for some reason there's just so many, like you put out a poll recently, I think, how many
Hmm.
are active credit cards are there in the US right now? And I think the answer
Correct.
was it
It was like 518 million, I think.
518 million, right?
Card
Um,
accounts, yeah.
which is crazy. And
Yeah.
was that US or the world?
That was US. That was yeah, the amount of cards open in the US are outnumber the amount of people because people have multiple cards usually. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and actually
yeah.
Sledge has like Sledge, Luke, and Chad have about 100 million. So they're like one
Yeah,
fifth of the just them
exactly, yeah.
three. So do you ever see a world where, or what do you think about a world where they're like, oh, everybody's got a credit card now, right? Like, why are we giving so many sign up bonuses to get new cards, right? Like, why are we
Yeah.
doing this in this theoretical world? Um, what would you think would change in the credit card community if sign up bonuses were not a thing anymore?
Hmm. I mean, I think that would change a lot of our strategies, no, like in the credit card community in
Hmm.
general. Like, for example, somebody like myself, or probably most of the people watching here, you're watching videos like this or making videos like this because you are really into the credit card game, which generally means you are going to get a lot of credit cards.
Hmm.
So for those type of people, we get the most amount of credit cards because we know how powerful sign-up bonuses are.
Yeah.
If they took away sign-up bonuses completely, I think that you would have people really optimizing their setups for their spend. So I think the setups would look a lot different, maybe. Maybe. I think people would just have less cards, honestly. I think that's what it
Yeah.
all comes down to, in my opinion, because you
Yeah.
don't need as many. There's no reason to get another card that also gives you the same, percent back on the multiple categories that you already have covered. Like, you don't need that. So
Yeah.
sign-up bonuses are really what keep us going to get like 30 plus credit cards over time.
Truthfully, so many of these cards we would never, ever, ever touch if there were
Yeah,
no such thing
exactly.
as a sign up. You really think I would have a Hilton credit card? I mean, some of them are good, but
Yeah.
but you know, not that great. It probably, yeah, like like you're saying. That's my first thought is like five cards max. Most people will
Right.
have in life, and that's basically it. And it'd be a lot less exciting, for
Yeah.
sure. Hmm.
The only it would change the tides a lot because in my opinion, well, I guess this doesn't necessarily make sense, but I think whenever I think about the difference between like team travel and cashback setups,
Hmm.
for a lot of people, I feel like, well, you can optimize your setups with a cashback setup for like you can get a card for each category basically. So you might
Hmm.
have a ton of cards. For people on team travel, a lot of times you're getting cards that are a little bit higher tier. They might cover more categories. You might have less cards.
Hmm.
Um, so it might change the tides a little bit. It could change the tides to like more people wanting to go team cashback and just having that simple approach to it where they don't apply for too many cards and they get a 5% back on all of their highest spending categories, and that's that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a cool thought experiment.
And even Jesse A came in and he said, "I don't know if I would get any annual fee cards if no sign up bonuses would happen."
Mm,
Hmm.
I didn't think about that. I mean, I guess the credits would become a lot more important for sure.
Yeah.
You would hope that people would really start to analyze whether or not a card's worth it for them after year one.
Honestly,
I think
yeah.
a lot of people right now justify getting more cards. Like even if they, I guess, if they can't justify the credits, like for example, people get the Amex Platinum card that have no business getting the Amex Platinum card, and the reason they can justify it in their minds is because they can get a sign-up bonus.
Yeah.
So in that case, maybe you have less people, yeah, applying for annual fee cards, and maybe they lower the annual fees. But then if they start doing that, they'll probably lower the earning categories that we get and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they're always going to make their money, the banks. So
Yeah, you would hope, JJ says, like, oh, maybe sign up bonuses, higher multipliers, this teeter totter. But really, like you said, I think it'll just kind of, sign up bonuses, probably no annual fees, less multipliers, and then we become uh, Denmark. Is it Denmark? I forget. So we had somebody comment from Denmark or something. He was showing the platinum, and it's like the credits are like worth nothing, and
yeah,
something like that. So that's what it would end up turning into.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's interesting. I talked to Kevin Yang recently,
Hmm.
and I forgot this, but he moved from Canada to the U.S. and
Oh,
Canada's credit card market is pretty trash
yeah.
compared to ours. So it's really interesting. Like I think they have a couple cards that are kind of cool. Like I think they have like an Amex Cobalt card or something I've heard of. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's good, but I think it is. And then the Aeroplan cards up there are pretty popular. But
Mm,
you just lose optionality when you have less rewards. Like why would you get more cards than what you really need?
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah.
Huh. So I wanted to also go into a little bit before we get into questions from not only the live chat, some of you guys who are going to be dropping questions in a
Mhm.
few minutes, but also some questions from the Discord and the community posts we put out there on the channels and whatnot. So we'll go into some of those questions in just a moment. But the last thing I kind of want to get into with you, which is a little bit more fun, which is what are and I'll kind of start it off, but what are the most what was like the worst mistakes you ever made with
Mm.
your credit cards? It's something that gets talked about a little bit, but I find it very humorous. Like the way I've redeemed some of my points and some of the things. Like I'll give an
Yeah.
example. And I mentioned this I think on the Cali Live in Nashville. I because I totally forgot this because I signed up for the Chase Sapphire Preferred, got 100,000 points, and I only have like 30K left or 40K left, and people are wondering like, why do you have so little? What'd you use it on? Like you would think, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know, using it for hotels, and I had to really think about it, and then I remembered, I was like, wait a second. When I got engaged to my fiance, we stayed in an Airbnb that was like seven hundred
Oh yeah.
dollars, and at that time they just introduced the ratio of one UR point equals 1.25 cashback if you redeem it for Airbnb. So I
Hmm.
took 60,000 points and I
Yeah.
redeemed it for the Airbnb at 1.25. I thought I was getting a deal. I was like, well, that's what the deal is with the 1.25. That's why you get the Sapphire preferred. Little did I know, like Hyatt was a thing, other
Right.
airlines were a thing, and I was like, geez, like you wasted so many points. Um,
Yeah.
Anything like that you've had?
I'm trying to think. So I think what you're talking about is probably how most people's mistakes happen is like you're just basically unaware of like what else is out there
Yeah.
in a way. I think I can't honestly I block things like this out of my memory, I think, but I'm pretty sure I whenever I first got started in the credit card game, before I was super, super heavy into YouTube, I'm
Mm.
pretty sure I redeemed some of my Chase points for like Amazon, which is like point 0.8 cents per point,
Oh Lord, yeah.
which is really bad.
Mm.
I like have a slight remembrance of that, which is probably a good thing. I've blocked out of my memory if so.
Yeah.
But honestly, like so far I haven't applied for any cards I regret. For example, like I don't have any like big regrets in that sense.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think.
Well, you
I
did do
know I
one
like
redemption.
yeah, I was gonna say that's a whole nother conversation, but I could talk a little bit about it because some people might think it's a mistake if we're talking about the same redemption here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, for those
Matt
I guess that
Welter's in the
haven't.
building.
Oh, nice, Matt. What's up, Matt? Um, but yeah, somewhat recently, I was like 217,000 Chase points or something, and redeemed it for my MacBook Pro.
Hmm.
And I made that. That was the first video I think on my channel that I've been worried about posting
Hmm.
because I didn't know what people were going to say about that. I
Yeah.
knew for me it was obviously justifiable, or I wouldn't have done it, and I had already done all the math. But I was like, man, people are going to hate me for doing this. But
Yeah.
it was actually quite the opposite. Like if you go and look in the comments, like a lot of people are really defending that
Hmm.
purchase because even though I got 1.25 cents per point because it was during an
Oh.
Apple like partnership with Chase where I got 25%
Hmm.
more points for my Chase Sapphire preferred. But a lot of people were really supporting that because in reality, I could have used those 200,000 Chase points for, I mean, multiple trips.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was in need of a new laptop because I knew I was about to go through a move and I wanted to be able
Hmm.
to travel and work, which at the time I could not do.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you do like I don't know, like I don't know if it's net present value calculation or what, but if you look at like the value I'll get from this MacBook Pro over my lifetime or over its lifetime, it's going to far outweigh probably any travel booking I would have ever made. Um,
Yeah.
and also, granted, it directly gives me points back because it helps me make content like this,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I don't think it was a bad redemption, but I guarantee you some people would think that was a mistake. And
Yeah. Of
I
course.
also don't recommend that to everybody. But
Hmm.
just off the bat, I'm not telling you to go do that. I think I'm in a really fortunate position to where I do get like credit card referrals and stuff like that, So
Yeah.
for me, it's pretty easy to accumulate Chase points quickly. So that's why I did it, but could have been seen as a bad redemption for sure by some.
I'm sure there's no matter what you do, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You did something wrong. No matter what,
Yeah.
you did something wrong. No, I
Yeah.
think it was great, and obviously it's gonna propel you even further. The more work you're able to get done on it,
I hope
and all
so.
of that for the business, it's good. Um,
Yeah.
do you know how depreciation works on that, or actually on your taxes?
Uh, yeah. Well, not particularly. This is what I've come up with, and again, might get flamed for saying this, but I think this makes at least logical sense. I'm not a tax professional, not a financial, you know, expert, but
Hmm.
I feel like since I get a 1099 from Chase every year for my
Yeah.
referrals. They give me a cash price value of my points that I'm taxed on.
Yeah.
So theoretically, even though I redeem those points, I probably could write off as much as like up to that cash rate for my referrals, but
Hmm.
no more than that. Obviously, like I'm not gonna be able to write off all those points. You can't write off purchases with points technically.
Hmm.
but I'm wondering how that works since most people aren't going to get a 1099
Hmm.
from Chase, you know? So I don't know. I need to look into it more, but to answer your question, I don't exactly know how it works.
I'm sure you'll consult a
Yeah.
CPA and
Yeah,
get
exactly.
into it. That'll be really interesting to have them, they'll look at your situation and be like, I never considered that either. They probably
Yeah,
don't even
exactly.
know.
Yeah.
Danny Boy came in with a 10
Oh,
spot
yeah.
with the rose gold Centurion logo. He had the rose gold for a while, and now he's got the classic gold, which is good. Um,
Yeah. I was going to say it looks a lot better now.
yes, same my boys. Appreciate you, sir. Hmm.
Yeah. Danny's been a huge
Same.
supporter on my channel too, so I love seeing him in all of our channels. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He hits it up. He hits everywhere. He's great. Um, and
CJ's mad.
CJ is always getting mad at somebody. Logan Carmen came in and said, "Wow, this is quite the get together live and in this chat for credit card YouTubers. This is awesome. Yeah, man, we have a good time in credit card
Oh, yeah.
community. We have
Oh, yeah.
oh no, here we go, rose gold and classic gold. Oh lord, it's gonna be a problem.
Hmm.
um, and you see some people in the chat too, also kind of in light of your purchase, saying like, "Hey, Luke might take all 250K of his points and pay for his new camera, all 1 cent per point." So it's definitely
Oh, yeah.
something
Okay.
something people resonate with. The Golden
He,
Centurion returns. Yeah, sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. I was just thinking you brought up another great point. Another way that I could easily justify that, for one, is the fact that there are people on Team Cashback all day long that they're getting the value that they want to get.
Yeah.
It all comes down to what you personally value. So even though my points have the ability to give me 15 cents per point, that doesn't mean that I actually need to get that from them. I need to get what actually matters to me right now. And a lot of time, like I did get a 25% boost on my points, which is
Hmm.
great. Like it's honestly like it made it a better decision,
Yeah.
or an easier decision. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. It's definitely is an interesting one for sure. But I think that it's also cool too that the fact that they were chase points means that I actually could do that. If they weren't chase points, you know, your cashback rate's so much lower with like Amex, for example, that I never even had that option, and I would have had to spend $3,000 or whatever on a new computer. So
Yeah. Very true, and you kind of have that option, which it's very that's something I actually have thought about too. It's like, yeah, I do have the ability, like you said, like get 15 cents per point, something ridiculous, but I also do have the option of buying the computer at 1.25 cents per point, or
right,
Luke doing 1 cent per point. It's kind of why I like Amex in that way, because even if you don't have the Schwab or Morgan Stanley, like you don't want to deal with all those points. I believe even the Amex debit card will allow you to take points at
yeah.
1 cent per point.
I actually just remember that too. Whenever, yeah, I think I think I could do that through my business checking account too. I might be
Hmm.
mistaken, but I forget. I need to start mentioning that more because maybe Luke will make a video. I imagine he'll make a video about this redemption, but I'd be interested to hear how you do that because in reality, like I always think of Amex points being worth zero point 0.6 cents per point in cashback because if you did just redeem them without doing any extra work, that's what they're worth. But
Yeah.
if you do a little bit of extra research, you actually could get pretty good redemption value. So that's a good point.
Yeah. So you always have that kind of baseline, no
Right.
matter what. Um,
Right.
Chombe. Well, I want to figure this out. Chombe Halas Selassie. Sounds like Not sure what that last name is from. Sounds like Ghana, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But he says, "Hello, gentlemen. I really love watching your videos. Both of you bring us valuable credit card knowledge." Well, I hope so. Spencer's
Yeah.
got some
Thank
good
you.
knowledge. I just act a little crazy.
No, no, no. I'm in your life for a reason. You bring the
Okay,
knowledge.
hope so. Maybe. So that's interesting. So I also want to bring up one other mistake I made, which was
Yeah.
actually two others, which I thought were just. I wrote these down because I was like, did I really do this? I actually redeemed a lot of my Amex, not a lot, sorry, some. I redeemed some Amex points for Growhub. When I was
Oh,
paying
okay.
through
Yeah.
checkout, it'll have you like pay with Amex points, and I did that
Right.
as well. Oh my
It's an innocent mistake. It's an innocent mistake.
it was during lockdowns. It was 2020. What do you want from me? All right,
Yeah. Exactly.
and I
Yeah. I think.
also. Mhm.
I'll go for it. Go for it.
I said, oh, Chad said it's Ethiopian. Okay, geographically, I was kind of in the right area. Um, so I also, along in conjunction with that, I wanted to mention, which will be out in my video tomorrow, um, is I got the lowest. I think I hold the crown for the lowest sign up bonus on the Amex Gold and the Platinum in the whole community. I,
Oh, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
yeah, I think I got 45K on the Amex Gold and I got 60K on the Amex Platinum years ago.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough to hear.
Oh Lord! So now if I just waited, I'd get 90K on the gold and
Yeah,
surpass both.
that was actually a big reason that I recently, or I guess pretty recently, I actually tried to get the platinum even at 524. I knew it would
Hmm.
push me out of Chase for another 4 months.
Hmm.
But because on my gold card, I got the 90,000 point offer plus the 250 cashback or
Hmm.
statement credit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get the Amex Platinum with 150K and $200 statement credit to like get the highest bonuses I've ever seen on both. But
Yeah.
pop up jail. So
Got the best of us, man.
yep, everybody.
They hurt us. People are like, yikes, ouch. That sucks.
Yeah, that was a tough bonus for you. But
CJT though, I know. What can you do? So so we're about to get into this kind of like the some of the questions that people had
yeah,
in the venture capital Discord and the community post that I put on my channel. For you specifically, I think there was one for me, but we'll kind of go into that now, and then whoever you guys in the chat, if you have some things you want to bring up too, we'll come back to it definitely. Like Mr. Potato got the 50K gold and 70K platinum, so you did a little better than me.
a little bit. Yeah, barely.
Yeah. Um. Oh, that's interesting. Chombe says, I have been with Amex for 27 years, and I have the platinum and the gold, a few more cards. I applied for the green, and they put me in pop-up jail with no. Yeah.
That's just everybody. Don't take it to heart.
Yeah, man.
It's really everybody right now.
Yeah. All right, cool. So starting off with some of the questions here, I have them in my secondary phone. Um, and oh, Luke got the same as me years ago. We must have got it around the same time, a few years ago. Uh, so the first question we had come in here by Make Money 6411, which I thought was actually one of the most interesting questions. He said, "How to have self control and not just apply and apply and apply." For credit cards, when you're over 524 and you really want Chase cards, like he wants to get cards, but he's 524, and how does he kind of control himself? You think?
Mm. It's a good question. First of all, I want to make sure I don't go over too long on each of these. Do we have a good amount of questions that should I rapid fire these a little bit?
You could probably rapid fire a little, yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I think so far it's been that I'm just so much like at the will of the lender's rules still.
Mm,
It's like I'm really cognizant of my 524 status, so that automatically limits how many cards I can get.
yeah.
Also, I would have made it honestly getting that platinum card, while it wasn't necessarily going to be a mistake, it kind of probably would have ended up being one down the line. I would have always been happy with that bonus, but I would have kind of jumped the gun on it and been a little bit
Mm,
too eager to get it.
yeah.
But again, I'm at their mercy of pop-up jail. So a lot of times the lenders might limit you, beforehand. But I think once you understand the strategy, at least like if you're on team travel specifically, I guess I'm more talking towards, because cashback you can get a lot of cards pretty quick, I feel
Yeah.
like. But on team travel, like there are specific ways you kind of need to apply for cards in order to actually get approved for them,
Mm,
while also getting the right amount of value from them, like sign up bonus periods and stuff like that. So for me, it's kind of like having that knowledge beforehand on the actual strategy I want to take is big, because if you don't have that in mind, then you might just start, just spraying and praying that you're getting approved for cards and just, never really take a step back. So for me, it's just like having a good roadmap ahead of time is probably what's helped me really control myself.
mm.
But that's me.
Yeah, and you've kind of sounded the horn on that on some of your videos, kind of like your roadmap going forward, and just all of your decision making process on what you plan to get going forward, which not a lot of people talk about. We just kind of talk
It's
about
on
what's happening right now.
right. Yeah. It's honestly those are my favorite videos to make. So I want to
Hmm.
make more of them. It's hard because I'm like, I want to make one all the time, but not a ton changes. But I think you'll see, like in hopefully my recent Wednesday videos, it's very much like we have a conversation like this, and one of these topics we talk about is going to really stick with me, and I'm going to want to make a full video on it because, yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of opinions, I guess.
Definitely, man. And people love it, so it's great. And some people in the live chat are like, "Geez, it's getting crowded." Josh is like, "It's getting crowded here in pop-up jail." And
Yeah.
Mr. Potato said, "I was born in pop-up jail."
Yeah. Feels like it.
Oh Lord, I know how you guys feel. I'm hitting my cup against the bars. Jesus. Billy says, "Chase has a jail." I'm like, "No, they got a prison."
Yeah, you're stuck.
Oh Lord. That's so funny. Uh, Another question here, Woodsy had, which was fairly interesting as well. Shout out
Mhm.
to Woodsy.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
he said, as I think he's actually seeing Oppenheimer right now as we speak in the movie theaters.
Yeah, he messaged me on Discord saying he couldn't be here for it, so we'll need to
Yeah.
timestamp this for him. An hour he can come
Yes.
watch this.
An hour 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Woodsy, this is for you. Uh, as you are now firmly in mid game going late game, everyone talks about the value of duos and trifectas. Usually those belong in the same ecosystem aside from the curve combo. Oh god, I actually cut myself off on here.
Oh.
Oops. Look at me. Look at me messing up here.
We'll
Okay.
get there.
Aside from the curve card combos, what blended multi-card setups do you feel, in your opinion, has the best slash easiest return as of now, knowing that it'll probably change in the future to for your needs and stuff? Hmm.
Yeah. Dang, that's a you
Yeah, I
could make
guess
a full video on that for sure.
I guess just quickly, if you're going from mid game to late game, and you're in, I guess,
Yeah.
and if you could classify yourself as that, any combos out there that you think would give you the best return, but is also likely to change in the future? Hmm.
I mm, I think I just rip it down to the basics probably. Like what kind of cards do you need in a trifecta? You need a catch-all card,
Hmm.
theoretically. Um, and if you're on team travel, you at least need one card that gives you elevated travel benefits.
Hmm.
And then that other card's more of a flex, that really fits your spending habits more, right?
Yeah.
So I think I want to hit on the fact that a lot of times we talk about trifectas in the same ecosystem because a lot of people in the credit card game want to have their spending as like
Hmm.
condensed as possible with one ecosystem.
Yeah.
But for somebody like me, I want points with other ecosystems. So this might not be for everybody to do, but I think that you can really build a crazy trifecta if you wanted to. Honestly, I feel like the travel side of the game is a little bit harder to make a weird one
Hmm.
because, like with cashback, like I said before, you can kind of piece together any cards you want.
Yeah.
I actually like Josh's a lot. The Hyatt Fecta, I've seen somebody talk about that before. Maybe it was you, Josh. I don't know, but that's an
Hmm.
interesting one.
See, like the Hyatt Fecta built Chase Sapphire Preferred a World of Hyatt. I still just have to say, just get rid of the Chase Sapphire Preferred, turn it into a curve card, and that's the God Trifecta.
That's fair. That's fair.
But
Yeah.
that those
See,
for
the
the who are
problem.
risky.
Yeah, I guess the problem becomes if you only have three cards and you're starting to diversify a lot between different ecosystems, you're likely going to have a lot of overlap. Or yeah, it's honestly just a lot of overlap, or you're not going to be able to take advantage of it fully. Like the Chase Sapphire Preferred isn't necessarily a big earner, so it's like it doesn't really slot that well into that kind of setup because dining's already covered by the build card, travel's covered by the build card, Hyatt you're already covered with your Hyatt stays, and you have other like miscellaneous categories
Yeah.
like gym and all that stuff. So it's like you might want a third card in that setup that's a little bit better.
Mhm.
That's like a catch-all card. But then how do you get the catch-all card out to Hyatt? I guess you couldn't really. So maybe you have like a cashback hybrid with Hyatt if you like Hyatt
Hmm.
a lot, where you have like a Wells Fargo Active Cash or something to catch all your purchases, and then that can help supplement like maybe your whatever. If you get a spa day at one of your Hyatt resorts, you can comp that with your cashback or something.
That's true. It's not a bad idea.
I don't
And I
know. Do
guess,
you have any ideas?
well, I guess I gotta, at least shed a little light to CJ. Said you need that sub from the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I agree.
Oh,
I
that's a good point.
I agree. All right, get the 100K sign up bonus. That was a sign up bonus that I nailed. I got 100K in branch offer, so that I was happy about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, I would just probably get rid of it after that.
No,
But
no, that's good.
anyway,
That's a good point. Yeah, trying to come up with something better, but I can't. I guess you could always like get it and then downgrade it to like the Freedom Flex, and you have a nice cashback card there.
I just love that. I don't know. I should be managing things a little bit better. I'd probably just get the Freedom Unlimited, so I don't have to think about it. I'll just rather get my 1.5 on everything
Right. That's
without
fair.
thinking about it. That's just kind of how I am.
Yeah.
Um, Abdullahi World said he came in with a question, which he's been asking on a lot of live streams recently. Which I would
Mhm.
be interested to see what you think off the top of your head. Which is, what is your credit card hot take?
Oof. Credit card hot take.
Hmm.
What would that be? Have I said anything to you that you're like, wow, that's crazy?
Um,
uh,
just that maybe the hot take, which is because hot takes are only hot takes in the moment, and they eventually become
right.
cold takes in the future. So, like you already mentioned, like Chase Trifecta
Right.
is the be all end all. Not really. That's probably a hot take.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I was trying to think of something a little different to be a little more like
Yeah.
sound like I know more than I do. But honestly, that's what came to my mind first too. Is like I think that my hot take in general is that a lot of credit card setups are overrated right now. I think the Chase and Amex trifecta are both a little bit overrated.
Hmm.
Um, but then again, like I said before, they're all kind of equal depending on what you're looking for. So
Yeah.
I guess that would be my hot take. That Chase needs to change things. But then again, that's not even becoming a hot take anymore. Everybody doesn't
Yeah.
like them right now.
All right. That's the cool. It's the cool thing now. It's
Yeah.
people are getting flack.
So,
That's funny. Um, and I guess another one. Okay, so here's another thing. Um, he also asked, which I actually would be curious to get your thoughts. So, are you familiar with the Amex Everyday Preferred at all?
everyday preferred, not
Yes.
the blue cash preferred. No,
No.
not super familiar then.
So I'll bring it up, make sure I get my facts right. But
Okay.
this one, in certain sections of the world, have been talking about this. Meaning, like Abdullahi. I actually mentioned in my video tomorrow. Chad and Sledge been talking about the Everyday Preferred, because well, it's giving you 3x points back on all U.S. supermarkets. So same as the
Okay.
same as Amex Gold, and it's giving you 2x. Well, not the same as Gold, but they're
Yeah. Yeah.
both earning supermarkets. I mean, on a cap of 6,000 per year, and then
Hmm.
2x back on U.S. gas stations with no cap, I believe.
Hmm.
But the superpower is if you swipe that card 30 times in a given month, all the charges are 50% more. So now your US supermarkets are actually 4.5x per dollar spent, which is now higher than the Amex Gold. And they
Hmm.
do earn membership reward points. It's 1 to 1. So, and then your gas
Yeah.
is, 3x on everything. But he was
Yeah.
wondering,
That's
is that card you think better than the gold card?
ooh, that's a I don't know. I would have to do a little bit more research on it. I think I'm not a fan of the fact that you have to do extra work to get value from a card.
Hmm.
But if I mean 30 times in a month is definitely a lot. I feel like I don't know if I swipe my cards 30 times in a month, like one card, because that would mean like that would have to become like my main spender. And
Yeah.
I shop once, twice, whatever a month, 3 times a month on groceries, and then the same on gas. That's not going to get me to that cap. Granted,
Hmm.
the gold card, you have to do extra work to get the credits covered. But for me, whenever I'm living in a place where the credits are easily accessible, it's not a
Hmm.
problem at all. So in that regard, I would say you have to look at effective annual fees, really, right? I mean,
Hmm.
if you get a lower effective annual fee on the gold than you do that card, then the gold makes more sense. And then you
Yeah.
can even add up all your spending over the course of the last year and see like, hey, if what that extra 0.5x on groceries or whatever get me
Hmm.
more value. So like you can do the math for yourself, but again, I think for me, I wouldn't want to go through the hassle of swiping it that many times. But I guess you could set up like automatic stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, when this started, kind of people talking about it, my first thought was like, I'm just gonna go and buy 30 bananas all in what, like a couple hours
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
grocery store for like 30
yeah.
cents each. I'll pay $9 and I'll be done. But you can technically, like, usually if you go to the grocery store, there's really no issue with them saying, like, you can actually tell like the cashier, like, hey, you mind putting this through like two separate transactions, etc.
Yeah.
Especially if you go early morning. I think, like, because I don't even care. Like, I'll literally just sit there and I'll be like, "Okay, let me do like 30 transactions real quick at 7 in the morning."
Right.
So definitely ways to
Yeah.
do it inorganically.
Yeah, like I mean, I think Amazon Reloads is always the one I think of, like a
Oh
dollar
yeah,
reload every day,
yeah. You could just
basically.
do, yeah, right.
But that's a lot of work, honestly, or just like annoying, really. But it definitely could be worth it. Any card could be worth it for you.
hmm and Josh mentioned it's capped at $6K per year.
Yeah. Fair point.
But then you and your spouse could get it or something and just kind of up that.
Is that on both
Mhm.
categories combined or
No,
each?
6K for U.S. supermarkets and gas station. I don't think is capped at all.
So 500 a month on groceries. You spend less than that, you're fine.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely.
I mean, that is pushing it. For two people, you're definitely gonna be over that. But
hmm
if you're single, maybe that works, or you get one for your spouse too. Yeah. But then
Yeah.
that's 60 transactions in a month. That's a lot. So
hmm
I don't know.
Um,
Interesting
uh,
though.
and Michael Stewart said 3% on the Walgreen rewards on memberships and health-related purchases. Perhaps not the best since it's a store card. I don't know, just at a glance. Not sure the issue is probably synchrony. Yeah, Walgreens
Yeah.
getting a little hype lately. From Sledge, I would say, because
Yeah.
he had something where he had to go to Walgreens and it was on health, and he got like a lot of percentages back on that.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
Pretty
bunch of
interesting.
secret cards out there, but they're mostly cashback, which is why it's like I feel like cashback almost is more fun because you can find those
Hmm.
hidden gems. Travel, it's like you're kind of you know what you're getting. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Life with John is new to the credit card community, so he says, "What's up, everybody? What's going
Oh,
on,
thank you
man?"
for watching my videos.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Oh, Manny Covington's here. Said two great YouTubers and people. This is my Christmas.
Awesome.
Manny. Oh Lord. That's so and DJ October's in here. So what's good, y'all? Glad to see you two on the live together. I'll have to go back when the live ends and watch the beginning. Appreciate
Hmm.
you being here, sir.
Yeah,
Um,
as always.
Hell yeah. Matt Clausen said, or he had a question. Matt Clausen, he said, if you could start over, what cards do you get instead of what you got?
Oh
Maybe
yeah, that's a good question.
first couple. What do you think?
Yeah. I'll think of like maybe like first five because pretty. I think I actually mentioned that. I kind of answered this question earlier. I think I would have gone only
Yeah.
chase cards. I would have like
Hmm.
really gone only chase cards.
Hmm.
Um, I guess I would have probably built out the trifecta for just all the sign up bonuses.
Yeah.
Um, I think the way that I started the credit card game is how I would recommend most do. I got started with the Chase Freedom Student, so that got me into Chase really early. Then I got
Yeah.
the Unlimited, the Sapphire Preferred. Product changed my Freedom Student to the OG Chase Freedom, so getting
Hmm.
5x on rotating categories. And then after that, I probably would have gotten like the World of Hyatt and maybe a Southwest card, personal.
Yeah.
And I think that's about all the cards I really care about from them for the most part. Like I haven't gotten into Marriott and stuff yet, so that'd probably be a later addition.
Hmm.
Um, and then I probably would have moved on from there. So yeah, I guess that'd be my quick answer.
Yeah. Definitely. Calby had a question in the community post. Calby asked, "What are some tall people issues?"
Oh yeah, I wouldn't know, man. I'm not
I
that
would.
tall.
Hey, pretty tall though, from what I hear.
Tall enough. Tall enough. I'm not 6'6".
All right. Well.
I can't continue that. I'm telling you, people are going to be so disappointed when they see me if I keep saying I'm 6'6".
Oh my God. Come
But
on, man.
I think I'm tall enough. I'll take that.
Listen, you're taller than me. I'm one of the. I think I'm one of the shorter ones in the community. At like
No,
5'10", but
that's not short though.
well, apparently everybody in the credit community is like Daniel Bronsize, 6'5". You know?
Yeah,
How was
he's
meeting him
insane.
in person? Actually, but as I'm just thinking about it, how was that?
It was fun. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I think we're pretty similar in a lot of ways, so it was easy to just hang out afterwards too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Luke, 6'6" is tall, man. Be proud. You got to be proud. Stop. Stop being upset with who you are.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually looking down on Daniel Braun the whole time. It's crazy.
I heard you had to set the camera up like like on the top of the refrigerator to film that
Yep.
video.
Exactly. And that was us sitting down. We were just at the top of the ceiling.
Woo. Oh
But
Lord.
yeah, it was a good time with him for sure.
No, it seemed like it.
Yeah.
That's cool, and the space you were at too. That hotel looked cool.
Yeah, right on the lake and stuff. Yeah, and
Hmm.
we went to like a cool co-working space downtown too. That was pretty sweet. So
Nice.
yeah, cool spot. I like Austin.
Wait, that was in Austin?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yep.
I gotta come down there eventually.
You do.
Oh, yeah, Chad is really tall as well. Chad's 6'3". He's crazy. You know,
Yeah.
he's gonna look like my dad when I meet him. Um, Michael Wong came in the Discord, and he said, um, "How long will Spencer be doing the YouTube credit card gig? Will he transition to another niche eventually, or will he go back to the regular workforce, 9 to 5?"
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think originally my goal with my channel was I wanted to start with credit cards because I was super passionate, still am super passionate about it, and then maybe consider transitioning out to general personal finance, like a lot of people have the aspirations of.
Hmm.
My mindset changes on this a lot. So if you watch this a year later, I might have already changed.
Hmm.
But for me right now, I'm considering in what other ways can I scratch that general personal finance itch? Because unfortunately, even though a lot of y'all that watch my channel might really love personal finance, if I post those videos on my channel, they're not going to do as well. It's just like the nature of the game for some reason.
Hmm.
Um, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to post any. That's definitely does not mean that. Like I have personal finance like videos that I want to upload,
Yeah.
and depending on how those do, again, I might completely change this opinion. But a big part of me also starting that podcast with Mark Plymell, the Business
Yeah.
Banter podcast, is to talk about general personal finance,
Hmm.
and then see how well people receive it, and then maybe I could start mentioning certain videos or make certain videos from that content on my channel,
Yeah.
depending on what people resonate with. But
Hmm.
I don't. I guess to answer the second part, I don't want to give myself that option of going back to the workforce right now,
Yeah.
because I really want to. My ultimate goal is to always be working for myself, whether it's not obviously only ever going to be this YouTube channel. Like I hope that it opens up opportunities for me that wouldn't have been open before, and I want to take this through as long as I can. But I understand that there is a shelf life for certain platforms, and this one we might have to transition somewhere else, and it might not do as well or what have you. But
Yeah.
for now, I want to just focus on building my community with the credit card niche, because I think there's a lot of room to grow there as a YouTube channel, and also it's a lot of people that need help with it. So
Hmm.
I don't want to move on too quick. And while I will sprinkle in some personal finance, I think I'm going to stick mainly to credit cards on my main channel for now, until I kind of reach that saturation point, probably.
Yeah.
And yeah, for other businesses, we'll see what happens. But I don't want to go back to the workforce yet.
Josh. You
That's
see what he
one.
said?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe one day.
and
You never
associates
know.
engineering. That's so funny. Um, yeah, yeah. There's very few people that can be afforded your opportunity on YouTube. What is it? What do they say? 10% get to 1,000 subs. So you're now
Yeah,
in probably getting to the 5%, the 1%, approaching 10,000 subs. Um, getting some really good views on certain videos. I mean, you're definitely in a spot where, hey, like your overhead's not insane. You don't have
yeah,
a lot of life to worry about at the moment. It's literally just one thing, and it's just, can I
yeah,
grow this as big as possible? I love that. I think
yeah,
and you've done the schooling too already. You could always go back to it. I mean, you got the degree and everything.
yeah.
But you only have one shot at this, really.
Right.
At this point. So I think you're making good decisions in my book.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean that was a big reason that I even took it full time before I was probably most people probably would have, is because I
Hmm.
realized I don't have many responsibilities right now. I'm not in even like 4 years from now. I'm not going to be able to take this big of a chance
Yeah.
by quitting my job before I even am making the same amount of income. So I said, why not give it like a year, see what kind of growth I can find.
Hmm.
And so far, what it's leading me to believe is that I can make this a true career for as long as the shelf life is for this. So I'm really,
Yeah.
really blessed to be in this position, but I don't want to take it for granted. I want to put all of my effort into it. So that's what I'm doing for now.
And it definitely shows, man. You're seems like you're doing all the right things, and
No, thank you.
paying dividends
Thank
for
you.
sure. So
No,
it's you've definitely been you know somebody to kind of emulate a little bit in the space, to kind of just see like, wow, he's doing it. So it's kind of like a guiding light, like he's doing it, so okay, the rest of us can do it too.
yeah, well, that's awesome to hear. I mean, honestly, like I know we're all in the same like kind of like age of our channels and stuff. Like we're in the same journey, And
Hmm.
for me, I know exactly what you're saying when it comes to like that was me and Daniel. Like I
Yeah.
really wanted to emulate his path. And I think a lot of us do. So it's always like just trying to collaborate with each other because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without the community, like without y'all in the community that we've
Hmm.
built within the credit card niche as creators as well. So it's all just like I think it's a rising tide lifts all boats situation. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that any success that any of us have, I want all of us to succeed because then that just helps everybody else. So
I've been saying this. I'm like, I'm looking so hard. I'm like, where are the million viewed credit card videos? I just don't see them. I see Brian Young's done it. I haven't seen anybody else. Shelby Church did a video. Centurion Lounge got 1 million views. But I just, once I start seeing that, like, oh, Cal Barton got a 500,000. Brian Young's got some 500,000. Daniel Brown's got some 500,000. Once we start seeing millions,
yeah,
ooh, man, we got to keep growing this community. Man. We got to keep growing
yeah,
the credit card world. I
I
love it.
agree.
I love it. So definitely. Richie had a really serious question for you. So I just,
Okay.
I know you're sitting already, but I just want to make sure that you are prepared. So
Okay.
the CEO of Credit One, Richie, came in hot and he said, boxers briefs or zipperless pants.
Or there's what is that supposed to mean here? I only get to choose one.
Your face.
That's wow.
We're not here to interpret. We're just here to answer. Boxers briefs or zipperless pants.
I don't know what the question is asking here. My answer is going to be that I always wear like athletic shorts, so I don't have zippers on these pants. So there you go. I'll go. Well, those are zipperless pants. That's different. Or do you say
Yeah,
shorts?
zipperless pants.
Oh, geez, that's a whole different ball game. I'm gonna probably have to ruminate on that one a bit.
See, Josh understands. He says the answer is clear here. He thinks. Um, but what about if you just do boxers or briefs? Do you have an answer on that?
Dude, I don't even. I wear what boxer brief. I don't even know what my underwear are called. I mean, I wear.
Do you wear underwear?
Yeah, most of the time. I would say, unless I'm feeling real ballsy, no pun intended.
Oh my god!
But
Derailed. T-bars. Luke says.
I'm lost in this conversation.
It's okay. Pause.
Do what we can for y'all here.
Oh man, this conversation escalated quickly. Yeah, man. We always love to go downhill towards the end, so we
It wouldn't be alive without it. You know?
Yes, yeah. So I'll save my answer for when someone asks me sometime on live. But zipperless pants are interesting, but it's hard to go to the bathroom sometimes, so you just don't. Anyway, uh, John Tonks. Um, yeah, okay. So John R came in. Who's a great friend to the channel, the Discord, everything, and that was Chad saying, and he asked another serious question, which is hot or iced coffee.
Here's my hot take of the whole thing. I don't like coffee at all, so I'll go no coffee.
Oh my god!
There's my credit card hot take, my all hot take.
Bro, how do you get anything done? Coffee's the only way to get work done. You can't function without coffee. I hear this all the time. I don't do coffee either.
You know, yeah, I was gonna say I thought you might not have. Yeah, I mean, I talked about it before. I do have some caffeine in my days. Like, I have those little Mio Energy, like little teardrop looking bottles that
Oh,
I'll
you do
use
those?
in some water. Yeah, so
Hmm.
I do that sometimes, or if I need a little pick me up, I might be bad and have a little sody.
A little sody pop.
A little sody pop.
Oh, bring that up. Bring on that up because that'll get me into the next question.
All
Dr.
right.
B's. You guys ever seen that before? It's Texas.
I mean, this is where is this? There we go. It's HEB brand, baby. Only people from Texas know what HEB is, and they love it. They literally look at our cans. Literally say, "Go Texan."
Oh wow.
So we're real.
Stan.
Stan.
Spencer, where is your Celsius?
Dude, I almost have retired from the Celsius game. That's like I used to do it a lot on the weekends because I was working and needed to do YouTube, and I had to work on the weekends. So I needed a Celsius to get me through the day. But now I'm a lot more like I can just kind of wake up and and go. But I do have them every once in a while if I really need some energy. But lately, it's more like I can get by with a little bit of Mio energy.
Gotcha.
Just being high on life here,
Right. Obviously. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Josh was a former 5-year barista. Coffee is king. CJ said Spencer is out here cheating on Celsius. Oh, man.
Yep.
Scandalous.
Yeah. We've been talking about a lot of moral issues today. The God Trifecta and cheating on your favorite drinks.
Honestly, these are the biggest issues. And Josh says,
Mm-hmm.
maybe one day I'll be able to dish caffeine. My tolerance has no business being this high. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. You need a little bit of a detox, maybe.
I don't know.
Detox.
My mom used to tell me many years ago, and she's a coffee drinker. And she used to tell me many years ago, she's like, "Don't drink coffee because it'll stain your teeth. You get yellow teeth." So I just kind of believed that, and I just never really. Still to this day, I've never had an actual cup. I had a couple sips here and there, I have to say, but I've never actually had a cup of coffee in my life.
I don't think I've ever finished one. I can't, dude. Like I just don't like the taste for some reason. But
I hear you.
Sue me.
And also, so related, one of the last questions, which is by Hydrogen 1.008, which I'm guessing is some sort of something on the periodic table.
Yeah, the atomic number or something.
The atomic number, yeah. So he asks, which state has the best barbecue? Or is Franklin's barbecue overrated or appropriately rated? Spencer's from Austin, yes?
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I'm obviously biased. I think Texas has the best barbecue, but a lot of it comes down to really like the sauce, honestly, because like all barbecues somewhat similar. Like they're going to taste pretty similar. I guess the seasonings are different, but for the most part, you're getting the same kind of barbecue, but the sauces are different. I do not like the vinegar-based sauces, really. That's me. I don't know what states have that, but I feel like it is like the Carolinas or something have like vinegar-based.
It might be, yeah.
Barbecue, and I haven't really liked those, or the mustard-based. I don't like those.
Neither do I.
But yeah, I mean, in Austin, I go to Terry Black's probably the most when I'm feeling like kind of fancy because, like that's where me and Daniel went, because that's kind of like where you bring people to that haven't been in town before. Franklin's I hear is like really, really good, but I honestly like, for me, it's like if I'm getting barbecue, I'm just gonna go to Rudy's, which I don't know if y'all probably don't know, but it's basically like the budget barbecue. Like I can at least afford it, so I go to Rudy's usually. But yeah, I think someone John's saying I need to come to Kansas City. I've heard Kansas City has some great barbecue. I know Nashville has they have barbecue there, but I don't know. I can't go against Texas. I mean, come on. To be fair though, my favorite barbecue is always going to be in the smaller towns. So like we have some places that my family always gets barbecue from. Like we have a place called Cooper's out in Llano. This is so Texan that people aren't gonna, if they don't know Texas, they won't know. But there's a place called Cooper's that's really good, and then we have a Snow's barbecue out in like Taylor or something that I really like. So there you go. You're gonna have to really get in the depths of Texas to find these places.
Oh Lord! And Chad says, "What? How could you not like the taste of hot bean water that tastes exactly like burnt match heads?"
I don't know what he's referring to, but
I figured he'd be. I don't know. Maybe I thought he was referring to maybe your mustard thing.
Maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
See, here's the deal, right? Like, I just want to know before we, whatever. I'm from New York originally. Now I'm in South Carolina. South Carolina is not, at least where I'm in Greenville, it's not super south. We got a lot of people from out of state. Barbecue is big, but not big enough that people talk about it very often. What is like something I need to know if I'm someone who wants to jump into the world of barbecue? Like I went there in Nashville, a couple places, but I still don't fully know like what am I supposed to do when I go to barbecue places?
That's a good question. I think. Or are you talking about like specifically how you like order and stuff? Because I know that gets confusing for people.
I don't know, just things that people, because it's like a community, right? Like the barbecue scene is a scene. Like, is there anything I should know before I break into the world of barbecue before jumping into it?
No, I can tell you some guiding tips that I found if you want to find a good place. For me, I've heard, at least where I'm from or who I hang around with, that you can tell how good a barbecue place is based on their brisket for one, and also their ribs as well. because both of those are kind of like staples of a lot of barbecue places around here. So
Hmm.
you can get chicken and turkey or whatever, but you're gonna get the same stuff no matter where you go, which is probably why I like the cheaper places too, because I'm fine with getting turkey and stuff.
Yeah.
But do you get like a really, really good brisket, or a really, really good rack of ribs?
Hmm.
I think that's where you start, and then you kind of take it from there. And then obviously you got to get some sides. Potato salad's real big down here. Beans.
Huh.
It's usually what I go to. Green beans. Anything. Coleslaw is kind of big, but I don't really like coleslaw.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Same.
I recommend going with like the staples, and that's how you can kind of tell how good a place is.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's
Hmm.
good insight. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's good to know. I honestly, the last barbecue I had, you'll laugh, is I don't even know if you classify it, but when I was with Calvi in Knoxville, Tennessee,
Hmm.
in a Bucky's, I got a brisket sandwich.
Dude, I feel like the Buc-ee's aren't built the same there. That's a Texas brand too. But
Yeah, I heard. I heard. I
I don't
didn't know
know.
that.
I don't know how they do. I can't vouch for them there, but in Texas, their barbecue's pretty good.
Mm,
Like if you're on a road trip, it hits completely different whenever you need some food in your life and you get to pull up to a Bucky's and get like a pulled pork sandwich or something.
yeah.
It's pretty good.
I'm gonna have to hit it up because one of the people that was talking to in Knoxville, one of the people who worked there, they were like, "Oh, you got to go to the one in." She might have said Austin, I don't know, but I thought she said Texas.
Maybe.
And
Yeah.
she was like, that one is like double the size. Everything is double the size out there." I was
Yeah.
like, "Really? This one's huge." Hmm.
Yeah. We have some really big. I mean, they're like like bigger than like Walmart pluses or whatever. Like they're huge.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's at least around Austin, there's a few that I always pass through. Like on the way to Houston, I pass through a couple, like in a Bastrop, for example. But then there's some big ones out in like New Braunfels, which is another pretty popular place that people come in Texas. It's like float the rivers and stuff,
Yeah.
like that area. So yeah, you can get some good options here, I think.
Hmm. Good to know. Definitely.
Hmm.
Um, Josh is a pescatarian, and he could really go for smoked fish or some
Mm.
fillet of salmon at the moment. Um,
Dude, salmon might be my favorite meal to have, like salmon with some like broccoli, rice.
really? Huh.
I love salmon, but yeah, for the most part, not, like I actually think I'm getting salmon tonight. Like
Whoa.
my mom's bringing back some food from a place she's eating, so it's gonna be a good night. But yeah, salmon and then barbecues like my other. Like I can really get down with those anytime.
Wow. Interesting.
Hmm.
Huh.
Yep.
Oh, and Chad
Uh,
was referring to coffee or to
yeah,
coffee
I
when he
saw
was
that.
yeah, yeah.
It makes a lot more sense than what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was like,
Yeah. At first
I don't know what
wasn't
this
sure, but
means.
yeah. Talking about crab legs, Stan is like, "Oh, we love salmon too. Salmon, broccoli, and rice is my go-tos and salads."
That's the meal. That's literally what I'm eating tonight. Well, it
Wow.
might be like squash and stuff, but it's like veggies, rice, and salmon. So good.
Wow. I don't think I've
Yeah.
had salmon. Actually, no, I think I had salmon the first time, but it was like a week ago at Sushi Train. But it's on
Mm.
sushi. Never had that
Yeah, yeah.
before. Huh.
It's good stuff.
Wow.
Recommend it.
Definitely. Well, man, this was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
I really appreciate you doing this with me today and spending an hour and a half. A lot of good information here and some funny topics along the way.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wanted to bring up at all, or anything you want to say?
This is a good question. I always ask people in my creator
Yeah, you too.
conversations if they have parting words, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I should tell people to prep that because I don't really have any.
Yeah.
But I can definitely come up with something here because I think obviously we're all into the credit card game, right? I know we just talked a little bit though about like our like business ventures in a way, like doing working for yourself and doing stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I'm like a really big proponent in kind of pushing yourself to do things you might not have done.
Hmm.
Like if you're just a little bit outside of your comfort zone, because I think I worry that a lot of people get super complacent when they're young about just working for a corporate company, which is a good thing to do, but you get so lost in it that you let your life kind of get away from you in a job that you might not love. So
Hmm.
at least for me, what I'm trying to do, and I don't know if it's the right move, but what I'm trying to do is find what I really love. And I think that you have to take chances to do that. So I'd recommend that people try to do that if they can. But
That's great, man. And it's you saying that, but then it's also you living it as well, currently. So It's the words mean a lot when the person's doing it for sure.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time just saying it and hearing it, so
Yeah,
it feels good to finally take that step. But yeah,
for sure. And I have no doubts that you'll continue to prosper for many years to come. And you're very innovative. You've had a lot of interesting content out there, and just your creator conversations. Which, wink, wink. I think the next one
yeah,
is coming out tomorrow morning.
yep. First one's tomorrow morning, and I got like 3 more after that on the next Sundays. But I'll have some midweek videos too to break it up a little bit. But
Yeah,
I guess we can hint a little bit at someone who might be making an appearance in
somebody might.
this season of the Creator Conversations.
Somebody might at some point.
I mean, these 40 people or however many can know, but
All right. Yeah, we did one.
but yeah,
we had a nice little one. So we'll see.
exactly.
We'll see whenever. But no, man, and I appreciate everybody for coming out. Danny Boy for
Yep.
the super chat, and of course every one of you, amazing. I think we almost hit 60 people. I think we were 59 at one point. So
Nice.
appreciate everybody for being here. Josh, Richie, Michael Stewart, Stan, JJ, Billy, CJ, Luke, Michael Wong. Let's hit him up. Chad,
40,
John, Keith.
30 more to go. Keep going.
Okay, Life with John for being new into the community. Josh for being a pescatarian. Michael Wong for some great questions. CJ for not liking anything. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. but yes, I
Also,
appreciate. Yeah.
I figured out my real final words.
Okay.
It's 2 things. One, make sure to like this live. Go check
Mhm.
out the VOD, like and comment on it, and also subscribe to Anthony Venture. That's my final.
Oh,
my
thank
final
you
word.
very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Oh, and last before we go, Amex Classic Gold or Rose Gold?
That's not a question. That'd be the classic gold. But
Let's go.
oh, they want to see Odin real quick.
Oh, bring
Odin,
Odin
come
by.
here.
Yeah.
Come here. He's coming. He's coming. Don't worry.
Oh, he's
Say
gonna
hi to the
sign
people.
us off like he normally does.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
there he is.
Look at him
So majestic.
in all his glory.
Look at that bud. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Wow.
he'll be in all the end of my videos, so y'all come check him out.
But again, thank you all so much for being here and making these possible. I feel like we have the strongest community. We say it so much, but it's the reason we do these. Because I love interacting with people who are in front of me and people who are in the chat as well. So appreciate every single person for being here and joining us. And thank you for Spencer for being here one more time.
Yeah, thank you again for having me on. This is what I love to do, so I appreciate you.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, everybody, enjoy, have fun, be safe on this Saturday night, and I think I said it, but just have fun. That's the most important part of life. Have some fun. So, all right, take care, everybody. Take care, Spencer.
All right, see y'all later.
See you guys.